Your child is afraid of the dark. You probably think that's irrational, a phase, something they'll grow out of. You nightlight it, you reassure them, you leave the door cracked open, and you tell them there's nothing out there. But here's the thing, there is something out there. There always was. And the part of your child's brain that knows this, that ancient screaming part that wakes them up at 3 a.m. and refuses to be reasoned with, that part is not broken. That part is the reason they exist at all. This is the story of how ancient humans kept their children alive in a world that was genuinely, actively, constantly trying to kill them. And it will change how you think about every single protective instinct you have right now. Let's set the scene. It's 50,000 BC. You have a child. Congratulations. You also have no walls, no locks, no hospitals, no police, no child safety regulations, no baby monitor. What you do have is darkness, miles of it. And in that darkness, things are moving. Cave lions, hyenas, leopards, eagles large enough to carry a small child, wolves, bears that haven't eaten in 3 months. The list of things that wanted to eat your child in prehistoric times reads like a nightmare someone had after watching too many nature documentaries. And unlike modern nightmares, these ones were real, they were patient, and they were very, very good at their jobs. Here's something that most people don't know about prehistoric child mortality. Researchers studying ancient bone sites have found that somewhere between 40 and 60% of all humans who ever lived in the Paleolithic era died before the age of 15. Not from disease, not from famine, from predation, from being taken, from a moment of inattention in the dark. The predator problem wasn't background noise in ancient human life. It was the main event. It was the thing that shaped everything. Every instinct you have, every protective reflex that fires in your body when your child is near danger, every time your stomach drops when you can't see them in a crowd, that is 50,000 years of selection pressure talking. The parents who felt that feeling most strongly are the ones who kept their children alive, which means they're the ones who became your ancestors. The ones who didn't feel it as strongly, their line ended, quietly, in the dark. So how did they do it? How did they keep children alive in a world like that? The first answer is one that sounds almost too simple. They never put them down. Ever. This is not a metaphor. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies that still live the way ancient humans lived have found something remarkable and consistent. Infants are held or carried by someone for roughly 80 to 90% of all daylight hours, not set down in a safe space, not placed in a bouncy chair, held on a body, constantly. The reason is brutally practical. A child on the ground is a child a predator can reach. A child on a body is a child that requires going through an adult first. Modern Western parenting spent most of the 20th century telling parents to put babies down, to teach independence, to not spoil them with too much holding. Every piece of that advice runs directly against 200,000 years of what actually kept children alive. The holding instinct isn't weakness. It's the oldest child protection system ever developed. It just doesn't look like one anymore. The second answer involves the group. Ancient humans didn't raise children the way modern nuclear families do. 2 parents, 1 house, mostly alone. That structure would have gotten children killed. Instead, child rearing in the Paleolithic was a community project in the most literal sense of that phrase. Anthropologists call it alloparenting, which is a very clinical word for something that is actually quite beautiful. It means that other adults, not just the biological parents, actively participated in keeping a child alive. Grandmothers, aunts, older siblings, unrelated adults who had formed bonds with the family, all of them were watching. All of them were listening. All of them had the same firing alarm system in their nervous system that went off when a child was at risk. A child in a Paleolithic group wasn't watched by 2 sets of eyes, it was watched by 20. And 20 sets of eyes are extraordinarily difficult to get past, even for a cave lion. Here's where it gets interesting. Researchers have found that grandmothers are one of the most effective child protection technologies our species ever developed. Pattern recognition built over decades, knowing exactly which sounds in the dark are nothing and which sounds mean run. The fact that you have grandparents is not a given. It is a solution to the predator problem that evolution spent millions of years arriving at. And then there is fire. Lions don't like it. Bears don't approach it. Wolves stay back from it. A campfire created a perimeter of safety no apex predator would cross. Children slept closest to the fire. Adults arranged themselves around the outside. It wasn't just light and warmth, it was a wall. The first wall humans ever built. In 2019, researchers found evidence that sick children had been kept alive for weeks, months, a drain on resources in the most literal sense, and yet someone kept them alive. That choice predates Homo sapiens. You feel it every time you check on your child in the middle of the night for no reason you can explain. That is not instinct you learned. That is instinct that learned you. The predators are gone, but the system built to fight them is still running in you. You are not an anxious parent. You are the latest model of a protection system so effective it survived everything the Paleolithic could throw at it. Across 2,000 generations, every single parent did exactly what you are doing. They stayed close, they kept the fire going, and they made it to morning. So did their children, and so will yours. If this made you think differently about why you can't stop checking on them at night, that's exactly what it was supposed to do. Subscribe for more videos that go this deep into the things you do every day without knowing why.